Welcome to the Cool Lifting Podcast. I'm your host, Theo, and this is your co-host, Nimi and Eric. And today's topic will be, is it worth doing nationals? So,
yeah, this is an interesting one because everyone just wants to do it right off the bat, right? Which is awesome. I think it's a very good goal to strive to do a national level meet. However, beforehand, like when we were powerlifting in 2021, it was very much hit this QT and then you go to nationals. But now there is more options as some federations do not have QTs. So it's more in a way like anyone can go to these certain national level meets, and because of that I feel like sometimes people are maybe a little more pressured to go to nationals sooner than they should be, because before with the QTs it was like, hey, if I hit this QT then I'm at least like I'm in this national level field. But now there's no QT, so it's a little harder to know what this national level field is. But now you get some people who respectfully, maybe they aren't national level strength, but they're doing these national level meets, and it's more so like, is it worth it at that point to do it?
yeah. I think you hit it on the head, because I think the prestige of nationals has maybe diminished since the split. But I do think overall it's still worth it. Well, I guess depends on which one you're gonna choose, right? Because there's so many different things. There's like PA nats, raw nats.
There's a lot. That's
Yes.
the whole thing. Beforehand, it was mainly just, it was high school and teen nats,
Yep.
but no one did those because they just weren't. There weren't as many teams doing powerlifting, so no one did this, right? And then there was CNATs, which people did, and that was awesome, and it's great. And then there was raw nats, which had open, junior, teen, masters, had like everything. So it was 3. But no one did high school nats and teen nats. So it was more so 2, collegiate and raw nats. And then if you weren't in college, then you're not doing collegiate. So it's only 1 now, raw nats.
Yep.
But now there's a good amount. There's high school nats, there's Age Division Nationals, there's CNATs, there's University Nats, there's another high school Nats in a different federation, there's Open Nats, there's USAPL Open Nats. I'm running out of fingers.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of stuff, and we just are going to kind of talk about each one.
So, what is it extra worth to do that? Like, what is it like, man, you 100% should do nationals?
I would say if you're going to win or place, it's extra worth it, right? But this one, you gotta be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a few people where they're like, hey, my goal is very much to win / place, but there are a lot of strong people out there, and when it's a meet like Open Nats, you already have an idea of who the really, really strong elite people are. But
Yep.
when it's a meet like high school Nats, Age Division Nats, then there's a lot of people that just kind of pop up out of nowhere. And some of these teams just make like insane progress. So maybe they'll have this QT registered, whatever it is, right? But then they make insane progress, and now they're up for contention as well. For collegiate Nats, it's a little easier to kind of be realistic and see what's happening, even though like maybe the collegiate national champion is not respectfully the most big name powerlifter in the world, but people who've been doing collegiate powerlifting have more likely have been powerlifting a little longer. They have their training age is a bit older, and because of that, these QTs, these registered totals, are more so lined up with what they're actually going to hit on meet day.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess that pretty much covers it. Like, if you can realistically place, let's say if you're teen or high school, you're kind of within that like 5 kilos from number one. Just because, like you said, the variance of someone just randomly popping up is a lot higher. Collegiate, I think you have a little bit more leeway, or like you can concretely know who's going to place.
Yeah, there's a few weight classes I was looking at for the collegiate,
Yeah,
and it's just like, yeah, this guy's probably gonna win. The gap is too big,
yeah,
and the guy who's second with this gap, like he's already been training for a long period of time, so the odds he makes this much progress probably not happening.
yeah. And then if you're trying to place in the open, that's already kind of insane. You probably don't really need our advice on this to do nationals, just because I think nowadays the gap between like the first 3 people is insanely higher than the rest of the field in like PA Nats. So, I mean, those are like household names at this point.
And I think as one gets older too, the expectations are a little more realistic.
Yeah.
As in, like, hey, I have this total, these other people have this total, I'm making some progress, very good chance that placing is within reach.
Yeah.
But not everyone even goes to these nationals to win or to place. People just do it for fun. And I do think it's extra worth in a situation like this when the national meet is close by.
Yeah.
'Cause sometimes it's you gotta fly, sometimes it's within driving distance. So the CNATS this year was in New Orleans, which is like 6-7 hour drive from us.
Yeah.
And then Corpus Christi Age Division Nationals is like 3.5 hours or so, 3 hours.
Yep.
But we're not doing those meets, but because we're too old. But our athletes who are in the Houston area are, and it makes it extra worth it for them because hey, these are both within driving distance, and that's pretty awesome. And there have been a few who have been on the fence of doing Age Division Nationals, and I've been very encouraging that they do it because it's so close by. Because they're in Houston, and it's in Corpus Christi. It's in the same state,
Yeah.
which is great.
And because budgeting, I think, ties in mostly with...
Yeah, that's something else we'll be talking about.
Right. I think because driving, or ideally it's like just in the city that you're in.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty rare, but
yeah.
that's pretty epic if it is the case.
Like that opportunity might only happen once.
Yeah,
So-
like that's not going to happen again.
Yeah, like, you should take that opportunity.
Yeah, CNATS was in, I want to say 2017 CNATS was in College Station.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's
But,
crazy.
there
Yeah.
were actually 2 CNATs that were in Texas over the past 7-8 years.
Yeah.
'Cause I want to say one was in Dallas.
Yeah. I think 2021 was actually in, like, somewhere in Philly, too.
No, that was in
2019.
Chicago because I did
2020?
2020?
Or,
No, I
I'm
think
not sure
2020, well, 2020 was
Canceled.
the pandemic year.
Yeah.
It got like pushed back, and then I think it was in Louisiana. I think it was in Baton Rouge. Everything.
All right, yeah.
Baton Rouge was popping up too much.
I might have lied. Fake news. But, anyways. I think for me, it's extra worth it. But I think this kind of falls into more so when it's worth it. Like, kind of in between that for me is like, if all of your friends, or like a majority of your friends
If more
are
friends
competing.
are doing it.
Just because, like, you might have been blessed with strength to repeatedly do nationals, but it's actually kind of rare that a lot of your friends end up doing it.
Like even at our gym, I think there's only gonna be like there were only 3 or 4 people doing it last year.
Yeah.
Who were members of our gym, and this year, I can think of 4 right off the top of my head, but
Yeah.
not a crazy amount of people. But granted, it's also like people are doing other national level meets.
Yeah.
It's kind of split up. Everyone's all over the place with this stuff.
But I think this will tie into when it's worth it. Just like as a blank, not really extra worth it, which is like for fun.
Yeah, fun. It's like that's awesome.
Yeah, right.
There's another thing. Yeah, if you have a lot of friends doing it, that's great. This is the first time like I went to a casino when I was at Age Division Nationals, and I kept seeing these casinos on the movie, and I was thinking like, man, this is the most lit thing ever. I want to check it out.
Yeah.
Didn't gamble or anything, of course, live a halal lifestyle. But I went to this casino and I'm looking at it, and it's like all these 50 to 60-year-old people who look really depressed gambling. And I'm like, man, this doesn't seem too fun. But then I went to this other casino, and it was like these people in groups of people, and they were gambling, and they were having a blast. So, if you got more friends doing it, it's a lot more fun.
Yeah, right. And then I think there's also this other fun aspect, which is like the spirit of competition. To me, this is important because if you're stronger...
You gotta get stronger than your friends.
Yeah, exactly. And then also, it's actually a rare chance for you to lift with people as strong as you.
Yeah, it's a very eye-opening experience.
Yeah.
And granted, I've only done one national level meet, looking to do another one this year. But when I did CNATs, it was very fun just to see where I kind of ranked up against all these people. And it was kind of like my deadlift was all right. It wasn't the strongest, but my squat was like, I was like opening the flight, and then my bench I was like ending the flight. That was kind of interesting, but it's a whole different world at these other meets. And there are some local level meets where it's like there are some meets happening in May. May is a very awkward time for meets to happen because it's too close for people to want to do a May to do an USAPL Open Nationals. PA Nationals happen in March. CNATS is happening in April. Age Division Nationals is happening in May. So if anyone's doing Nationals, they're not doing a local meet in May. But whenever a local meet happens in May, the average dots is like extra not as high because like all the strong people just did Nationals. So May is very much like if you're doing a meet in May, you're not going to be around strong people.
Yeah.
But if you do meet later in the year, when more people have had time to rest off from Nationals, then there's some more strong people. But it is, it's just always fun to see people lifting heavyweight.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess like another smaller part for its fun is like, for me, it's like a rare chance to meet people I talk to online.
Oh, that's another thing too.
Yeah, like I'm chronically online, talking to people on
You can
Instagram.
meet your Discord friends.
Yeah, my Discord friends, yes.
But that is true. Like a lot of this stuff is, on Instagram, and there's people just talking on Instagram or sending people in another state their lifts. This is a place where everyone can meet up.
Yeah.
And this is kind of like, these are the only places where everyone can meet up. Yeah. There's not really other options.
Okay, so then the other point of why it's worth it is tying in with being a competitor, but you should gain some national experience. So for me, I think there is a lot of merit to someone who does all of their lifts at a national level standard. Because I've seen things at local meets where I'm like, well, I'm not sure if that should count, and I'm sure we've all seen that.
It's just kind of like extra strict at national level, but the thing with that is it is very fair to everybody doing the meet because everybody has extra strict. And if everybody has extra strict, then I'm down for whatever, as long as everybody has it.
Yeah. And then a little bit of traveling and doing a meet is different than just, driving to a local gym and doing the meet there too.
It is more professional, that's for sure. That was the first thing I noticed about CNATS when I did it. It was just a much more professional setting. And some of the meets that I did before then were very, I don't want to say unprofessional, but it was basically like they just kind of moved stuff around in the gym and put a platform there and called it a day.
Yeah.
And then there were some other meets I was doing where it was like they put more care into setting up the venue. It was still at a gym, but it was like, hey, this looks pretty nice. Mm-hmm. But then the national stuff, I remember when I stepped on the stage, the lights were just so bright, and I'm sure it was for photography reasons.
Lights were too bright.
Yeah, I was blinded by the lights, as some might say. Yeah, but that was it was interesting.
Yeah,
it was much more professional experience.
Yeah, agreed.
Of course, there's always something that happens at nationals, and everyone's got to say something about it, but it's still more professional.
Right. Okay, and then what do you think is next? What makes nationals worth it?
it's also extra worth it to do it if you're just somewhat strong. And this is very subjective. I don't want to say anything if someone's not strong, right? I don't know. But before it was like there was a QT, and it's like, hey, if you hit this QT, you're there, right? And that QT kind of determined if you were strong or not. I guess there's a QT for CNATs actually, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But I do think it's very it's more fuel to the fire, pretty much. That you just kind of have to pay the little extra fee of the travel and all that to get that. But I think if you're very serious about the sport, it's worth doing.
Yeah, I think just leaving no doubt in your head of...
Like, I think it's good to get you stronger is what I'm trying to say. Like, if you want to... Like, getting past, I don't know, whatever the open QTs are like 450-ish dots. But getting... and, like, I think the CNATs is like 410 to 420. But at a certain point, some things get hard. And that dots varies for everybody. But I think it's very good to where it's like, hey, I'm going to do this really big meet where all these really big people, really strong people are. And it's just a higher goal than a local meet, respectfully. And people trash on local meets. But the people who say, like, oh, it's just a local meet. I've never even done a national level meet. Or maybe they've only done one or something like that. Like, it's always just those people. I think it's just a very good goal to where if you're, kind of you've done all the meets around in your area, you've done the cool ones, the not so cool ones, and you're still like, man, how do I get stronger? Then going to a meet like that is very good. I think it ties in with training environment in some sense, because we're going to a meet that has a very good training environment. It has a bunch of strong people.
Right.
And I think if you have that as your goal, like, you will actually get stronger than if you decide to continue to stay at the local level.
Yeah, agreed.
Like if someone's qualifying for USAPL Open Nats, but then they decide to just never do it and still stay in their city, I don't think that person will get as strong as the person who is willing to go out and do this national level meet.
Yeah. And, back in the day, I think hitting the QT was a huge goal in itself for a lot of people. Yeah. And I did like...
I'm sure they'll add a QT for PA.
Right.
Eventually. Right. It's just the awkward middle ground that's been around for... I feel like I've been saying awkward middle ground for like 2-3 years. But I don't know, hurry it up. Yeah, here we are. Right.
Okay. I guess we'll go on to the next thing. When is it not worth it? When shouldn't you do nationals?
The thing with this no QT, too, is it makes everyone allowed to do nationals in PA. And with something like this, it's... Like, I've seen some people put pressure on themselves to do nationals when maybe they just respectfully aren't at that level yet. But then they put this pressure on themselves, but it also just, like, really doesn't fit their budget. And it's kind of just like, hey, like, respectfully... You're probably fine being staying in your city, and later on building up to this, rather than having to do it now within maybe your first or second year of competing, like immediately.
Right.
But this part usually applies to younger lifters in a way, just because I don't like saying anyone's like not strong. I like saying maybe they're new or something like that, and that's a common thing. But for me, for example, like when I was powerlifting, like when I was on year 2, I was very, very much not strong. And I think if I somehow decided to go, I somehow made the choice to do a national level meet when I was on year 2, then I'd think I was an idiot. Like I would think like, what the heck are you doing? Like just keep training, have some fun, and eventually things will build up there. But it's awkward because there's no QT. The QT is nothing.
Yeah, right. And we talked about this before, but like, being a younger lifter too, and then the location of the meet can play a role in the budget. Because I remember when I went to Memphis Nationals, it was, cheaper. But going to the Vegas one, I'm sure was like way more expensive.
I feel like there's like a lot of cheap stuff in Vegas.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just out another.
But there are
I think
other
you're right, though.
cities that are more expensive
Yeah.
for sure.
But I feel like this is not as big of an issue as it was before.
Really?
Yeah. Like I feel like they're selecting places now that are, are like more consistent.
Yeah, this is a little side tangent, but kind of how they select the places is a few people submit bids, and what that is they submit like, hey, this is where the venue will be, this is when the dates are, there's an airport nearby, there's a hotel nearby, the venue is at a hotel, which is very convenient because then you don't have to go Ubering from hotel to venue. But they get a few bids and then they just kind of determine what makes the most sense.
Yeah.
And that's why you see it in random locations like Memphis. Memphis probably just made the most sense logistically, and from a meet director perspective, there's only so many people willing to do a task like this. Like, I'm not willing to do a task like this. I'm not going to host national level meet, but somebody else will.
But I mean, like, traveling in itself, it's still expensive. Plane tickets can be expensive, etc. But yeah, like, I feel like it's now been more stabilized on the price range that you're probably going to be having to spend. But again, we're not here to give financial advice. So then the other major thing that I feel like when it's not worth it is if you just got a major injury like 1 to 2 blocks away from the meet. I think
this one's
so rare though, but
this one's more of a, like, if you're already 1 to 2 blocks away from the meet, then you're probably already signed up.
Yeah, right.
Like, because these meets also do fill up at times. So
yeah. This is kind of like you've already thought about doing nationals, so
yeah. When it's not worth it, I think if you're having to, this is more of a CNATS and Open Nats USAPL thing, but if you're having to hit the QT, like if the QT is such a big reach and you're trying to hit it like 2 to 3 months out, well, that's a common thing in CNATS, because CNATS is normally in end of March / early April, but then there are people trying to hit the QT in January and February, and if they're very much reaching for this QT, then and they like barely hit it 2 months out. That's not a lot of time to really build upon that.
Yeah, right. Okay, so I guess now we can break it down into each nationals, and I think we'll kind of go down on what, like, I guess the hierarchy of national experience, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think for both of us, CNATS, I think that's the most worth it. Do you want to dive into the reasoning there?
Yeah, this one's the most community based, right? There's not really a community. There's high school Nats, which is a part of schools, but not as much of a, like, high school teams sometimes go to a different federation, or like Texas has their own powerlifting high school federation called THSPA. But there's a little more school spirit with the collegiate scene. And with CNATS, there you got the school and the team helping you pay for this. You got your friends going for sure. Right. Even when I went to the school I went to, it was a pretty small school for powerlifting, but there was still a handful of us going, and it did make it more fun than if I was to just go by myself. It's usually still a lot of fun, just because there's just more community with this sport. There's still some community with the other ones, but this one has the most community, as in, like, a school might go and they might send 30 of their lifters, which is a lot. You got like 30 people going with you, and then 30 people cheering you on, 30 people hanging out with you, 30 people to watch on the platform when you're not competing. That's not happening at another meet.
Yeah, right. And just to kind of build on what you're saying too, like the fun travel experience with your friends at, while you're in college, I think that's something that you'll keep with you forever, and I know it's kind of corny, but it's just like, that is kind of a big deal when you're in college, right? Like, what are you gonna be looking back on? And then another big thing too is just like, if you're in college and you have this opportunity, you should seize it, because you don't know how much longer you'll be powerlifting. After you're done school, like hopefully you'll continue powerlifting, but maybe your life goals will change, and hitting that open QT for Raw Nationals might not be something you want to keep going for, and then you might look and regret that you didn't take that opportunity while you could. That's something that I tell my clients is like, hey, like these friends of yours are doing it. You're also kind of in this spot now where your training's going well. All these positives are happening. You should do it and not regret it because you probably have the money to do it.
I'm very pro going to CNATs if someone's in that chance. And something with CNATs too versus Raw Nats and Open Nats is CNATs is a limited experience where you can only do it if you're in college. I can never do CNATs again. There is an age limit to CNATs. I want to say it's 26.
Yeah.
Even if I were to go back to school for whatever reason, right? Me and Theo are done with CNATs. We can't ever do it. But if you're in school, then you can still do it. And Open Nats, in a way, Open Nats will always be there. This is kind of like the opposite of what you just said. But Open Nats will always be there, and you always have the opportunity to go to Open Nats. And maybe, maybe financially or life-wise, you're just busy and it doesn't make sense to do it this year, but you could do it again next year. But if you're a senior in college, you can't do CNATs next year because you're going to graduate.
Yeah.
And you got to be a full-time student to do CNATs. So it's not really worth it.
Yeah.
Right. Or like, I don't know, don't go back to school just to do CNATs.
Right. But there's just like a difference in like the camaraderie, the energy, and like being competitive against a different school. If you're kind of like that, those things will when it gets to the Raw Nats, it's just like every man for himself type thing at that point. So.
There's still coaching teams there.
Right.
Right now, it's a little more every man for itself because the federations are split up. But before then, it was coaching teams and to be a big team, which was pretty awesome to see. However, that's not as much of a thing anymore because everything's just so split up.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But
Raw Nats. We'll talk about that right now.
Okay.
Yeah, Raw Nats. My favorite thing about Raw Nats is that there's a QT. There's a QT in place, which I very, very, very much like. I've always liked the aspect of QTs. I've always liked the aspect of you shoot for this QT, you work really hard to get this total, you do it in a meet, and now you're able to go to the national level. And they have that in CNATs. Like my whole college experience was me just thinking of this QT every day, every other day, and being like, man, I gotta hit that before I graduate. And then I hit it, and then they just raised the QT again, and I hit it again, and then they raised it again. I'm like, ah, man. But but it was very good. Like I definitely made gains because of it, because it was just such a good goal to have. And it was like, hey, you either go for this number or you're not going to CNATs. So with Raw Nats, this is more of a, like you're seeing more of the teens shift over to PA with age division Nats. So there's still some doing teen Nats and some doing junior Nats. Junior Nats is in Raw, right? Yeah. Junior Nats is at USAPL. Raw Nats. And I think if you want to do it, it's worth it. And one thing with this too is there's less people doing it, so the opportunity to podium does go higher, since that's the thing, right? And open podium is still like you gotta be really strong. Open podium in like any federation. But this one, I feel like environment-wise, it's not as good as CNATs, but it's still cool to be at this big meet. Yeah,
it's kind of like, unfortunately, because of the split, this is the one that lost the most prestige.
This actually, this had so much prestige. This was community-wise was like pretty awesome too. Beforehand, but now it's like we got a third of the community here and a third of the community over there.
Yeah. Meanwhile, CNATs, I feel like it's still the same prestige.
Yeah. Oh yeah. University Nats. We didn't talk about that. Yeah, but University Nats is very much. I think it's slowly becoming a thing. There's a good amount of people who did it last year. I'm curious how many people signed up for it this year. I don't think it'll be a thing anytime in the near future, but like maybe 10 years down the line, university nats will be the next new thing. But I think that'll still be the same thing. And there's the school rivalries that go on, like UT versus A&M. That's just a common one. Or I don't even know if that's rivalry anymore, actually.
Yeah.
Or as I don't know. But there's school rivalries that go on. That's fun. There's not really there's not really team rivalries with powerlifting, because then that's kind of mean. We don't want that. But it's interesting.
Yeah. Team CLS not bullying people.
We're accepting of all people.
Yeah. But I guess to cap off raw nats, I do agree. I think it's still worth it because, again, I found this other graph that I don't remember where it is, but I think hitting 450 dots is generally in the top 1.6% of each weight class. I think they had a total, and then it was kind of you're in that ballpark for dots. Mm-hmm. So you are competing with really strong people. So it is still an accomplishment and achievement to go do that.
It ties in with what I was saying earlier. I think if someone like me, for example, I'm planning on doing raw nats and I hit the QT, planning on doing it this year.
Yeah.
I think I will get stronger. I'm not doing it just because of this reason. Yeah. I'm doing it for fun. But I think I will get stronger if I do this meet versus if I do another local level meet. Because I've done a good amount of the local level meets in the area. I've handled at all these local level meets in the area. I kind of know how all these meets are. Mm-hmm. And they have the same titles year to year. I know how all these meets are. And I'm kind of dude, I just want to do something else.
Yeah, right. Okay, so then I guess we can build on top of PA Open Nats.
Yeah, this one I do not think it's worth it if you're under 400 dots or whatever that is in GL points, because there's no total. I do think there should be some prestige with this national level experience. And for me, if I was in year 2, I don't remember what dots I was in year 2, but I definitely was not 400 dots in year 2. And if I was trying to do open nats, I'd kind of be like, what are you doing, younger than me? But this wasn't even a thing back then. I did, even since day one, I very much like the QT aspect. But with PA Open Nats, I think eventually they'll add a QT. Dude, I have no idea when that will be, though. That could literally be 5 years from now. Maybe in 2030 they'll add a QT. But it seemed like it was a lot of fun. And that's also where the big names are. There's not as many big names at USAPL Raw Nats. All the big names want to go to Worlds. So they're in PA Open Nats. And this is kind of the only chance to really see the big names go head to head, and maybe you can see the battle live in person.
Yeah, agreed. The only real reason why I think it's worth it is just for the sake of competing at a national level standard. But again, it goes on what you said. If you're under 400 dots, I personally don't think that's anything to worry about. Just do a meet at that point, and then the other advantage is just the same thing as the other nationals, where just meeting people you met online, and then what you said of see the strongest lifters compete and being there in person, meeting any heroes that you had, those type of things. But I think it's just so weird right now with the way that PA Open Nats is with Raw Nats. Unfortunately, it just kind of muddies both of them.
Yeah, I saw some really, really strong people doing PA Nats, and then I also saw some respectfully not as strong people doing PA Open Nats. And it's you got Jesus Olivares, and then you got someone else.
Right.
So it's just interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
But it did look fun.
Yeah.
I'll say that. And the quality of that, I feel like the quality of PA Open Nats looks better than the quality of USAPL Open Nats.
That is true. That's what I was looking at. I felt like
the quality of the quality of USAPL Open Nats has been going down.
Yeah.
Which I do not like.
And then I think there is something to be said with the strongest lifters and kind of their presence being there, and if you're at that meet with them, it's kind of this feels like a big deal.
It's good to be around these really strong people just to see what is possible.
Yeah.
Because if you're hypothetically at a commercial gym, maybe literally the heaviest squat you've seen is a 405-pound squat. But then if you go to a powerlifting gym, maybe the heaviest squat you've seen is a 628-pound squat at said gym. that you go to.
Oddly specific.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Well, at least for the tested side. I don't think
Yeah.
I've seen heavier than that at RJ, right?
Oh, I saw it in person.
What?
Solomon.
Oh,
677.
yeah. Okay. Dang, you just got mugged.
Yeah.
But yeah, Solomon's really strong. But it's good to like something like that. You know, there's some powerlifting gyms where maybe the heaviest squat you see is 550 squat.
Yeah.
But then you go to a very big meet like this, and now you're seeing like a 700-pound squatter in the same weight class, or you're seeing like 600-pound squatter in the same weight class, and it very much just shows you what is possible.
Yeah.
And there's the whole 4-minute mile effect where it was like no one broke 4-minute mile, whatever year it was. It was a very, very long time ago, and then one guy broke it, and then like 1,000 more people broke it. I don't know. I'm kind of making up the numbers, but it's good to see what's possible.
Yeah. No, I agree, because even for me, I remember like, you know, most powerlifting gyms, I feel like the highest squats is like either at 600 or like low 600s. But then the first time I saw Jamar Royster squat, I was like, what is going on here? This guy's squatting like in the mid 7s.
He's
And
in Philly, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but that
In that area.
was insane. And I think,
Wait, no, I think he's in like North Carolina.
oh, sorry, I think he visited, but yeah, I think he's in North Carolina,
But yeah,
Northeast. Yeah. But yeah, you know, like if you haven't seen that, like you haven't seen like the scope of
It's-
what it's possible.
Yeah, I like the gym aspect. I think matters a lot more because then you see it a lot more frequently.
Yeah.
and it becomes the new norm to you, and it's like, wow, my squad's that this way, but this guy, how the heck is he doing all that? And he's like repping out my max.
Mm-hmm.
And then at Open Nats, there's just very good chance there's just a lot of people who are stronger than you. Like even if you're 500 dots, there's still a lot of people who
Yeah.
are stronger than you.
Right.
It was good to see.
Okay. All right.
Now on
Age
the
division.
age division nationals, which we'll be handling at soon enough. But this one, I want to say is sub junior, junior, and then the masters division. And we'll mainly talk about sub junior and junior. We'll talk about masters later though. But sub junior and junior, I do feel like a lot of people go with the expectation to place high, but with this one, there's just all these people coming out of nowhere. There actually is just a lot of competition, and you know, maybe at the time, like you could very much be 2 months out, signed up. You see, okay, there's only one guy stronger than me. There's me, and then there's another guy. Good chance I get second. But then 2 more people sign up who are both stronger than you guys, and then that guy who was below you just makes an insane amount of progress. And now we go from I really thought I was going to get second to maybe we get fifth, or maybe we don't even place. Right. There's always these people who come out of nowhere, but I do also think that the environment at this meet has been really, really good.
Yeah.
And granted, this is still kind of like a up and coming meet in a way. I don't want to say up and coming, but it's newer ever since the split. It's like one of the newer national meets, and the venues have been pretty nice too. Like it has been like open nationals. It's
Yeah.
felt the same.
And for me, I feel like we're kind of in that, I don't know what's called, like a renaissance of like newer powerlifters and like seeing new strength potentials. Obviously, like Joe Borenstein, Will Ball, right now, current strongest lifters are really young. And if you pay attention to this junior/sub junior scene, you can kind of scope out who is also going to be with them or potentially with them. So it makes it really exciting to watch as just a spectator. But then also like you as a lifter will be there and kind of experience like all the other things, all the other positives. I feel like that's kind of approaching more of that CNATS level. So I think sub juniors and juniors will probably be pretty big for the next couple of years.
Yeah, it's been fun to go to these meets too and just handle at them. But
Yeah.
this one, I do think gets a little muddied with. I feel like we're making a tier list right now.
Yeah.
But this one gets a little muddied with the placing
Yeah.
aspect because maybe it looks possible, but then as time goes on, as you get there on meet day, it's like, oh crap, that is. We'll see how things go.
Random dude just pulling up,
Yeah.
no Instagram, just opening with your max.
Yeah.
Exactly what happens.
But this year, for example, it's in Corpus Christi, a few hours away from Houston. So I've been very supportive of my athletes doing it this year because this is the closest it's going to get. Like, I do not. Last year it was in Reno, and that's a Nimbus's feeder, if you can hear that. Nomming on some food. But last year it was in Reno, and some people couldn't do it just because it was far. And it was also like for a few of my athletes, it was like right at the day after they graduated high school, which is very much like, hey, you graduate high school on this day, the fly out, and then compete. So life-wise, it was also not the absolute best with the timing. I think it's in the middle of May this year. Yeah. So it's probably going to be like that for a few people. And maybe that doesn't even work because with for the sub-juniors, for this high school graduation, maybe some of your family comes down to see you, but then you're like, hey, bro, I gotta go. Like, I gotta go do my meet.
Yeah.
And it's just a little awkward, but I think this one too is a very good goal to have for the sub-juniors. I think I think for this one, if you can do it, you should do it.
Yeah.
The Open Nats one, I do think if you're under 400 odds, I don't really see the point.
Yeah.
But this one, I think if you can do it, you should do it.
Yeah, that's the way that I see it too, where it's like, hey, this is going to be a good experience for you if you're at this age. And then also, I think you're more willing, or not more willing, more able to see more people you know and go with your friends too. But I think that will kind of segue into high school Nats
High school Nats.
for USAPL.
With CNATs being so good, you would think high school Nats would be so good. Also, not that high school Nats is bad or anything. And I actually just got back from handling at high school Nats this past year, and it looked fun. It looked neat.
Yeah.
But the thing that CNATs has that high school Nats doesn't is they have their school teams are a little more prevalent. And it's like you're a part of this club when you go out there for college, for collegiate Nats. But with high school Nats, it's a lot more independent. I kind of feel like high school Nats is the most independent out of all of these options. Because I was handling two of my athletes, and they know each other because they're both in Houston. But they went to different high schools. So it was not like they went to the same high school and did this meet. They went to different high schools and then they happened to know each other because they're in the area, and now they're kind of going together. And this one also worked out really well because it was also in Texas, which was awesome. And that is part of the reason why, like, it makes a little more sense to do it. It's like, hey, it's not too far. Like, I think you should do it.
Yeah.
But this one. Well, high school Nats is actually a thing in PA also. That one's not as popular because the people who are doing PA, instead of doing high school Nats, they're doing sub-junior and junior Nats if they're in PA.
Yeah.
And they're also similar-ish time frame. But if you're thinking of doing PA high school Nats and PA sub-junior Nats, I would encourage PA sub-junior Nats because you can qualify for Worlds at both of them, but if you do PA sub-junior Nats, then you get an extra month to build, and then two, let's say some really strong person does PA high school Nats, you can see what their total is, and you're like, okay, if I total more than them, then I could possibly go to Worlds or NAPF or whatever makes the most sense based off the competition.
Yeah.
And I think more strong people do sub-junior Nats than PA high school Nats.
I was going to say, if I were to choose, like, if I were to have my clients, like, they're like, hey, I want to do a national level meet, which one do you think I should do? I would definitely steer them towards age division just because of how isolated high school Nats is, or like it doesn't feel like you're representing your high school, unfortunately. And I think that probably just has to do with, like, there's no powerlifting teams for a lot of schools.
Yeah. It's a lot of people just doing their own thing.
Yeah, right.
But with collegiate powerlifting, at least you're doing your thing in team practice.
Yeah, there's like a club and all of that.
Yeah, there's not so much that with high school nats. I think PA high school nats is actually the lowest on the tier list.
Yeah, for sure.
USAPL high school nats definitely
Yeah.
above that.
I think first, if you're just like married to USAPL, like this could be sort of a coin toss. Like if you're like, oh, most of my friends are gonna do high school nats, well then just do high school nats, right? But then if it's kind of like I see more people and then the stronger people at junior/sub-junior,
Yeah.
I should probably go there. It just depends on location and stuff too.
Yeah, with high school nats and teen nats, I would say I would realistically do whatever made more sense logistically. Like USAPL teen nats is in summer, high school nats is during the school year. It's in end of March, and location wise, whichever one's a little closer. Right. I want to say the qualifying totals are somewhat similar, so it's not like it's just it's kind of a similar meet.
Yeah.
But I do think at least with high school nats, so with teen nats, if you go as a teen, USAPL teen nats, you're surrounded by a bunch of open lifters, junior lifters, and some teens.
Mm-hmm.
But at least with high school nats, you're surrounded by all teens.
That's true. Yeah.
So maybe I lean towards high school nats a little more, actually.
Yeah, right. Now that I'm thinking this through, it was like, yeah. I think it just depends on the person's age now at this point. Like if you're...
Yeah, but funny enough, the sub-juniors actually have the most options to choose from. They have PA high school nats, USAPL high school nats, sub-junior, PA nats, teen nats, right? Team 1, 2, 3 divisions. So I would say, determinate. Well, if you're trying to place, then it's also...
Oh yeah, that does make the difference too.
There's a lot of things to consider. I think if I had to pick one, I think I like high school nats more just because it's all high schoolers, rather than if you're pulling up to teen nats in the USAPL raw nats, then it's just all kinds of people and it's even more isolated.
Yes, true. So I would say like if you have a legitimate like reason that you can place, like you're not just like capping, the sub-junior / junior nats does make more sense. But I think overall...
Do you mean USAPL teen nats?
Or like making it to like the IPF.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Right. The age division would obviously make more sense.
A little more.
But like how rare is that,
Options.
But I think overall the experience of high school nats probably would be more enjoyable.
I do think it's also a limited time event.
Yeah.
Like CNATs.
Yeah.
Open nats you can do whenever, technically. But you can only do high school nats when you're in high school. I'm not too sure on like all the specific logistics, but yeah, full-time high school student, basically.
Okay, next one. I guess our last one?
The most exciting one.
Masters.
Masters.
Are you doing Masters?
Nationals. Oh man, I don't know about that one. But that one it did seem kind of fun when I was handling Raw Nats last year, USAPL Raw Nats last year. And Masters Nationals is actually also an age division nationals. So it's in USAPL Raw Nats and then PA age division nationals. I didn't see too much of it at age division nationals last time I was there, but it did look like they had some strong masters. Excuse me. And then with USAPL Open Nationals, it seemed like they had a lot more masters, but I wasn't paying as much attention with the PA Nationals, just with my schedule. It didn't line up too well for me to be watching the masters lifters, but I was seeing a lot of masters lifters with USAPL Open Nats, and it seemed like they were just all having fun. And I feel like if you're still powerlifting as a master, you're really doing it for the love of the game. So
yeah,
go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think if you're already set your mind to doing Masters Nationals, I think there's probably other reasons why you might want to do it. At this point, it's not like the conventional.
There's still like strong people. In
Yeah,
masters,
right.
That's for sure. I'm pretty sure if you win Master Nationals, you're still like 470 to 500 odds.
And the way that I see it too is more so like you've achieved a lot and like you're able to like. I think being able to lift that much at that age is a very high achievement in itself. So you should just do it if you like have the money, have the chance to do it, I think that's an accomplishment because like many people who get to, you know, like 40s, 50s, they always say like how their body isn't working as well as it is. But, you know, I think if you're able to do it, just do it.
Yeah. But that's all of them, right? That's all of them?
Yeah, I think that's all of
we're
it.
leaving it
Right.
out.
So I guess if
That's
we were
all
to
the
tier list it-
USAPL and PA.
All right.
So I want to say USPA is called Ultra Nationals. What, you remember what it was called?
I thought it was just called Nationals or like
They got a cool name.
they got a cool name.
Well, there's other ones, but with all the ones, with all the people, Ultra Nationals. That's right.
This is in California. Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, with the USAPL and Powerlifting America, that's mainly who we coach.
All right. So you want to quickly tier list
no.
these? So
I guess
in the S tier.
CNATS is S tier.
All right. What about Raw Nats? You putting Raw Nats in the S tier, or is that like
Oh, I feel like it's B tier.
a V tier? PA Open
A.
A. All right. Sub Junior or Age Division.
A. That one was pretty fun. It was
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
High school.
I'd say B. I don't think it's A.
Yeah. I would say high B, low A, and then Masters. This is like S plus, right?
I guess
Like,
it's S plus. Sure, it could
if
be
you're doing nationals at this age and you're winning, that's crazy.
There's I know Wayne Norton did Masters Nationals not too
Yeah.
long ago, so he's a very strong person.
Yeah, right. But I agree with your tier list too. I literally was thinking the same exact thing because, like, for example,
Raw Nats used to be S, but now it's B.
yeah, like definitely B because it's lots of just prestige, and then PA Open Nats. It's like if you're winning,
PA Open Nats had the cool people.
yeah.
So it goes to A. And it looks a little more professional venue-wise.
Yeah.
Last year's venue was kind of just like a convention center, and they put it all together in there.
Yeah.
Not as much art to it.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess that concludes our podcast.
Okay, that's about it.
so-
Work very hard to qualify for nationals, or if it's not qualification, work very hard to do very well at your national level.
Or make money to afford nationals.
This is the thing too.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Have a good one.
Peace.